become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos and articles on the golden era of bodybuilding. Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today I'd like to continue the Golden Era series on the Iron Knight, Chuck Sipes, and pay tribute to the great man and his life accomplishments. Chuck Sipes was one of the greatest bodybuilders from the early Golden Era, and known not only for his phenomenal physique and superhuman strength as shown in this cover mag, but because to many that actually knew him personally, he was also one of the nicest bodybuilders ever, especially for the charity work that he did for the youth. I personally know one of his best friends, and he described Chuck as a truly gentle soul, and it is a great shame that he is no longer with us today. He has, however, left a legacy that deserves to be celebrated and honored, which is the purpose of today's video, so I really do hope that you enjoy this look into the life of the great Iron Knight, Chuck Sipes. Born in 1932 in Sterling, Illinois, USA, Chuck Sipes was an average athlete at high school until he started training with weights at the age of around 16. In 1950, so at 18 years of age approximately, he joined the US Army as a paratrooper. But unfortunately, he suffered severe injuries in an accident, in a parachuting incident. After having recovered in 1952, he was discharged from the army and he began his training again. And he burst onto the bodybuilding scene several years later in the late 50s, where he started winning competitions, and well into the 60s, he had a successful career. And at his peak, here is his actual measurements. He weighed 220 pounds at his absolute peak, with a 50-inch chest, 19.5-inch arms, a 32-inch waist, 25.5-inch thighs, and 18-inch calves. An awesome physique, definitely one to motivate us in this modern era. Phenomenal physique from Chuck Sipes. Now, one of the things that I've learned about Chuck Sipes' life is that whenever I've asked about him, most of the people that knew him always say that he was such a nice guy, a really nice guy. He had a huge heart, and after ending his competitive days in bodybuilding, he opened firstly the American Bodybuilding Club. I think it was in the 60s, and he only charged $1 joining fee. He was also a great ambassador to the sport, to the sport of bodybuilding, giving lectures and demonstrations in schools and throughout the community, and later began helping handicapped children. He actually then joined the California Youth Authority and worked there for 20 years helping disadvantaged children. And he would take these kids to hikes in the mountains because he loved the outdoors. He loved hiking and mountaineering and stuff. And he would work through their problems in these camps that he held. So he was a really nice guy. He had a massive heart. He was truly, truly awesome. And yeah, I mean, he gave a lot to the community. And this is what I love so much about Mr. Nice Guy, Chuck Sipes. I mean, if you want to call him the Iron Knight, you can also call him Mr. Nice Guy. He was just such a great, great man. Now, if we look now more seriously into his competitive career in bodybuilding, he really, I guess, was a great ambassador as well for the IFBB because he represented them very, very well through the late 50s and the 60s. He burst, as I said, through the bodybuilding scene in 1959, winning the IFBB Mr. America, then went on to win the IFBB Mr. Universe in 1960, as shown here. He's displaying his title there, looking awesome. And then he did actually enter the Olympia in 66 and 67, where he placed third, and then his absolute top position was second, obviously to Sergio Oliva, and then won the 1968 Mr. World, the IFBB competition held in 1968. He also entered the 1967 NABBA World Championships, which he did win, and he achieved a lifelong goal later in his 40s, entering the over 40 division and winning in 1974 the Mr. Pacific Coast. So he had a very good career in bodybuilding. Now, one of the things that strikes most people about Chuck Sipes is that he was strong. He was as strong as he actually looked. He worked all his way up to a 570-pound bench press in his heyday, could squat 600 pounds and cheat code 250. Very impressive poundages indeed. He was definitely a strongman, and he actually partnered with Bill Pearl in strongman shows where he would break chains, blow up hot water balloons as shown here, bend iron and iron nails, iron bars, and even drive these nails through 2-inch wooden planks. I'm going to share some images here with you of Chuck Sipes and his strongman feats. For example, here are some great covers on Joe Wader's Mr. America mag from the 60s, and so well known was his strongman feats and shows with Bill Pearl that it would actually be featured on the magazine covers. Here is Chuck Sipes, for example, showing how he's bending iron, all covered in these leopard skin, kind of dressed like a strongman of the olden days, kind of like Sandow used to. And here, for example, he's doing a braced iron bend using his teeth. Incredible. I mean, it's the strength that this man possessed was truly amazing. Here's another great photo of Chuck Sipes, and he's actually bending an iron nail with all his might. You can see him bending these iron nails. Now, another stunt that would almost be considered out of this world is that he was actually training to achieve a 600-pound bench press, and so he would train firstly heavy on the bench press. He would actually work a lot of on negatives, and it is said that he would actually work up to his highest poundage and then add 100 pounds on top of that and do negatives using that weight. Ridiculous. I mean, and you think that would be enough, but no. He would actually work his tendons and ligaments further by doing heavy support training as shown here. He is well known to have built a special handle under his truck, and you can actually see he's got his Ford truck here, and he's got a special handle underneath it where he's now pressing with his arms, and he would basically lift the truck as high as he could with his arms and hold it there. Further, to develop even more strength in his body, he would then place his legs, he would wedge them right under the weight of the car and support it too with his legs. And I mean, the total of weight that he would be supporting there with arms and or legs would be 1,600 pounds. Damn, I mean, that is crazy. I mean, I've seen photos of Arnold and Franco lifting cars from the rear end. I've seen, you know, the videos in pumping iron. But to someone bench press basically or prone press a car up, that is insane. Chuck Sipes was a beast. Now, if you'd like to learn more about Chuck Sipes' bodybuilding methods and principles, I recommend purchasing Preparation for Physique Competition, written by Chuck Sipes, available on my website www.goldenerabookworm.com. I've already shared his diet and training program for developing bulk and strength, and there's much more in this fantastic booklet. I highly recommend you check it out on my website. Now, unfortunately, Chuck Sipes did end his life in 1993, and it is a great loss, I guess, to bodybuilding is all I have to say. I don't want to get into that particular topic. Again, a great loss to bodybuilding. Such a great man with such a kind heart, a real gentle soul. You know, it was a fantastic ambassador to the sport, helping kids, especially disadvantaged children, handicapped children. You know, I can't say better things for Chuck Sipes other than he was just a fantastic human being. So I hope you have enjoyed this homage, this tribute to the great Chuck Sipes, the Iron Knight, who truly deserves to be celebrated. His phenomenal life that he led, truly worth celebrating. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm. Thank you for watching, and leave me your comments. If you'd like to donate, please donate via PayPal so you can support my work, or join my Patreon, become a patron, sorry, on www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm. And if you'd like to purchase any books and courses from the Golden, Silver, and Bronze Era, please visit my website www.goldenerabookworm.com. That's it for me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Once again, I hope you've enjoyed this video on the great Chuck Sipes. Bye for now.
Hi everybody, I just want to recommend this phenomenal book, Vince's Secret Locker, volume number 2 by Carl Coyne. I've been looking at this for about 4 weeks and I can't put it down. If you get a chance, check it out. He also has a part 1 that I highly recommend also. Vince was the trainer to the stars and had an amazing, interesting gym that today there's still not equipment like it around. It was all made out of wood. He'll be on our radio show coming up probably in the next couple weeks or so. Have a great day, and again, highly recommend this book.